And welcome into another episode of Off Script. And before I get into the video today, if you haven't already, do not forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel. It helps me out a lot, so I appreciate you guys. But let's get into it today. A lot of controversy out there right now. A lot of shouting, a lot of negativity, I should say, just about either BYU, Notre Dame not being in, Texas, Vanderbilt, all these teams that were deserving enough to be in the college football playoff and then end up on the outside. And specifically today, I want to talk about BYU just because we have been following on the channel for a long time, a couple months, and I have grown quite fond of this fan base, this team. And I kind of wanted to talk about basically my thoughts on this and my reasoning on why I think this happened. I know a lot of you had your own opinions, and I'd love to hear that. Leave comments at the end of the video. I appreciate you. But get into it here. The main reason BYU is basically just mad because their only two losses have come from number 4 ranked Texas Tech, once in the regular season and then once in the Big 12 championship, which they were told they would not get punished for if you play in a Big 12 championship game. You were told if just any championship game, you're not supposed to be punished if you do lose that. But we'll get into that in a little bit. But let's take a look at the playoff real quick. Obviously, before the selection show even started, we had automatic locks that were 100% going to be in the playoff. And out of each single conference here, it was Big Ten, it was Ohio State, Indiana, Oregon. Those were 3 locks right there. SEC was Georgia, Texas A&M, Ole Miss, Oklahoma. So that's 4 right there. That goes up to 7. Then out of the Big 12, it was Texas Tech. So that goes up to 8. And then the G5, because Duke won the ACC championship, the G5 was Tulane and JMU. So that brings it up to 10. And that's a whole different can of worms we can open about the G5 and how they even deserve spots in the playoff. I might make a whole video on that later, but all I got to say about that is this is not college basketball. Like, them playing Oregon is like, I don't know, a peewee team playing a high school team almost. Like, they're different brands of football. They're not even, and maybe that's an extreme exaggeration there, and no disrespect to JMU or Tulane. Like, they had great seasons, but I'm not getting into it too much right now. I'm talking about BYU. But then there leaves 2 spots left, and that's between Miami, Notre Dame, BYU, and Alabama. And right now, after what we witnessed this past conference championship weekend, you watch BYU, and you're thinking, dang, all right, like the first quarter to the first drive, you're like, okay, look, like they got a shot here. They got a shot. And then Texas Tech overall just kind of manhandled BYU. And you're thinking still, all right, well, yeah, we got manhandled, but this shouldn't affect us maybe making the playoff. We're still 11-1. We had one of the best seasons in our program history. Like, this shouldn't affect us. And then you look at Alabama as well, who got beat by 21 points in the SEC championship game, and all they had to do was just keep it close. And then people were thinking, is Alabama going to make it? Like, what's going on here? And then come to find out, Selection Sunday, they don't even move a spot. They lose by 21 points, or whatever it was. I think it was 21 points. And they stay at the 9 spot. And that's a little baffling to me. I don't understand. I understand, and everyone's going to say ESPN, SEC bias, which is just complete and utter nonsense. It really is. I'm tired of hearing that. I really am. And that's not just because who I am. But I'm just saying in general, they have no poll. That's just how the committee went out there and just did that. They just were like, you know what? Bama's still a good team. Because if you look at Bama's wins, they won at Athens. They beat Vanderbilt. They beat Missouri. They beat Tennessee. They have so many ranked wins as opposed to BYU, too, whose best wins, by the way, are number 17, Arizona, and number 15, Utah. Those are the best wins. And I'm all for BYU. I wanted to see them in there over Alabama or over Miami. But sometimes when you lose the way you've lost against the same team twice, then you're thinking, okay, how are we going to put them in? But I think the biggest issue in this entire thing is just not the committee not being consistent of their groundworks, their ruling. And I'll play devil's advocate for them in a little bit, but the fact that Bama got blown out in the SEC championship game, and like they said, conference championships are not supposed to matter. And then BYU also got blown out in their conference championship game, and then they're out the window. Now, playing devil's advocate here, Bama also did beat Georgia at Athens So they have that win under their belt. So that could also be a reason to bolster them over. And then BYU also got blown out earlier, like a month earlier. So then the committee's probably thinking, yeah, okay, we're not going to throw them in. So that's that. Plus, just in general, and this is just a thing in general that I feel like fans need to know, the ranking shows throughout the year mean completely nothing. It doesn't matter till Selection Sunday. I wouldn't even pay attention. I'd pay attention just where like the committee thinks you should be, maybe. I wouldn't like dwell on that and be like, oh man, like we're ranked 13 right now. We're not going to make the playoff. Like it doesn't matter. Just because you were there last week, like the whole system is designed for end of the season. That's what it is. That's actually like a fact. It's not designed for November and BYU's ranked 8 and we're like, oh, we're going to make the playoff. No. The whole system, the whole college football playoff system is designed for all the games to be played, and then we see where everyone is. So that's the devil's advocate committee side where I'm thinking this is how the committee thought of this, and this is why BYU's out. That's what I'm thinking there. But at the end of the day, and I'm looking at this team, 11-2 BYU team who had a great season, who played really well in the Big 12, had some pretty impressive wins overall, as opposed to Bama, though, not as flashy. But I don't know. I just see it's hard for me to see them not putting an 11-win team in the playoff as being one of the best 12 teams in the playoff. And that goes back to the whole G5. Do they even deserve a spot? Should they have their own bracket? Like, it all is just so messy right now. It really is. But BYU fans, that's my take on this right now. I want to hear from you guys. I really do. I know there's a lot of, like I said, hostility, a lot of negativity. But leave some comments below. I want to hear from you guys. But until then, we'll see you next season, BYU fans. I appreciate you guys. This is Off Script. I'm Zak Herbstreit. I'll see you soon.